Perfect. All right.
Dr. Carson.
Sorry, I was sitting down.
It's out of order.
That's what my teachers did.
Okay. Sorry, we're starting a little late to those of you who are here. I know it's 3:53 and we'll go ahead and start.
Pledge.
Yeah, we'll start with the pledge.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And next we have requested patrons. How many, Ashley, on the list?
Oh, I didn't look.
I
I
forgot.
walked up there and then got distracted.
We're good. It's okay. We'll just move on to informational items.
All right, Dr. Brownfield.
I think we're Stuco first, correct?
Yes.
All right, I have with me freshman Stuco rep, Mr. Caden Irons.
On behalf of Ozark High School Student Council, we are honored to speak to you one last time this year. Student Council means representing the student body of OHS as a link to the students and administration in keeping a fun culture within our school. Members in Stuco were expected to not only keep the life and fun going in the environment, but create it as well. We want to make it to where students enjoy coming to school and have access to activities that will better their experience. I feel that is one of our big accomplishments this year. I feel another accomplishment for Stuco was gaining more members. In the past, we struggled to find people to sign up, and once we did find them, we struggled even more with meeting attendance and participation. But this year, each grade level had an exceptional number of members who participated and contributed to Stuco. We had so many members, separate grade level meetings were a must. This was a great accomplishment for Stuco because without student participation, the club would not be possible. Student Council has the unique ability to create events that provide fun and engagement to the student body. This year, we created a collection of events that the student body enjoyed. Some of the events Student Council sponsored include both fall and winter homecoming dances, the Eagle Roast in the fall, our Friendsgiving Turkey Feather Wall in November. During the Crush Christmas fundraiser in December, we sold crushed soda and then donated the money made to families right here in the district. We also hosted multiple movie nights and a Valentine's Day Rescue One fundraiser. These events allowed our peers to bond out of the classroom and make memories and support causes that matter to Stuco. Not only did these events provide entertainment for students, we were able to learn from them as well. Stuco wants to thank the administration for allowing us to speak to you every month. We are excited for another year of student involvement and engagement as we close out this year and start planning for next. Thank you.
Great.
I would just like to say, Caden, just being a freshman, it has been awesome to have him as part of Stuco this year. Just being a freshman, I am excited to have him for 3 more years. His passion for his classmates and our high school is pretty awesome, and in my 6 years, I think he's gonna breathe a great deal of life into Stuco over the next 3. So, Caden, I just want you to know I appreciate you, and I'm so glad to have you as part of Stuco.
Graduation update.
All right, so graduation is Saturday night. Excited to get there, more excited to get through tonight, and then we'll get to Saturday night. So we'll talk a little bit about parking and where you can park, board arrival, where you'll sit on stage, and kind of how we award diplomas. We do have some new faces this year, so if you will move on to the next one. In the center there, you have Great Southern Bank Arena and Hammond Student Center. The star you see on the map is the student entrance into Hammond Student Center. They will be able to arrive at 7 o'clock with the 8 p.m. start. Doors to Great Southern Bank Arena will also open at 7 p.m. I encourage the board every year to come into Hammond Student Center, glad hand those graduates, get to talk to them. You get to see a little bit different student that night than you do inside the building. They're excited, they're nervous. You get pretty much every range of emotion in there, but they're excited to get to graduation that night. So you can see the 3 parking areas. I'll talk a little bit more about the super secret parking that's somewhat frowned upon, but also somewhat allowable for those of us who are part of the ceremony. And just so you know, the Hammond Student Center entrance, you can kind of see the alleyway there on the picture to the left. That is where, if you want to come into Hammond Student Center first, anytime after 7 o'clock, see those graduates, you can do so there. The Missouri State Volleyball entrance looks like that. In between the 2 buildings, we can also transition in the tunnels from Hammond Student Center to Great Southern Bank Arena from that access point as well. Or you can come straight into Great Southern Bank Arena. The lower right-hand corner is the access service ramp to Great Southern Bank. That's where we load in, load out. The graduates also come in or come out that evening. But there is some very limited parking areas, not exactly parking spots, but you can kind of park against the wall right there if there is space available. You can also come in that entrance, either the overhead service door will be open, or there is a regular door on the left-hand side that walks through the security office that you can come in to the arena, and that puts you really close to where we stage prior to going out. Right where the star is, yes sir. But that's where we'll stage prior to going out on the arena floor and getting on the stage there. These are signs for the entrances for graduates. Again, if you're coming into Hammond Student Center and not Great Southern Bank Arena, you can follow that sign and again enter where the graduates are entering. Just an overall arena floor layout. On the left-hand side of the screen there, the gray box is the stage. We will have 2 diploma tables for the board and district office to divide up and award the diplomas. Dr. Bauman and myself stand out in front and shake each graduate's hand, but the board actually awards the diplomas and takes pictures with each graduate. So we'll have 2 lines coming from both sides of the arena. So those 2 tables, you'll award the graduates the diploma there. Once we get on the arena floor, we can walk out there and see those tables and see where everybody stands. The board generally will rotate through awarding diplomas. We have 441 graduates, so everybody will get to hand out plenty of diplomas and shake plenty of hands that evening. So, and just some student and family information. Tomorrow morning we'll practice at 9 in the main gym. The service or the graduation ceremony is streamed on all of the various social media platforms. Again, the decision to go to Great Southern Bank, no tickets, unlimited seating. And project graduation, the students will come back here and load out from the high school for project graduation that evening.
Where are they going this year?
Fun Mountain again. Yep. Any questions for me? I think if you'll back up, if you find yourself coming into Great Southern Bank Arena, you'll see the red X in the upper left-hand corner there. That is where we stage. So if something happens and you find your way into the arena a little bit late, we'll be in that tunnel coming out onto the stage there. So that's where we will be depending on where you arrive. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Today, right?
Starts at 8 p.m.
Yeah.
Yep,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thanks.
Let's see, any other informational items? Reports, superintendent's report, and legislative issues.
Yeah, I think we're gonna start with recognition on the MSBA.
Well, I really don't have much of an update, just encourage all of you that hopefully are going to Branson in June, and then think about November for the fall conference, but something happened in the last
Yes,
couple
and
months.
Patty, yes. So Patty has been working hard with MSBA, and she will be hopefully nominated next month for
I'm nominated for President-elect. President-elect.
of Missouri State School Board Association. And you've been working hard, and Patty has received her advanced board member certification. To achieve advanced certification, board members must earn at least 12 additional training credits, complete annual refresher training requirement work through MSBA, read 2 books related to school board service, attend at least 2 MSBA regional or statewide events, and write an essay relating to their study to their board service. And I present that with her advanced board members. Yep. Yeah. I'll send it. Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
And she gets a pin, so I can pin. She gets a pin for that too. But that's not all. Okay.
That's not all, there's more.
Patty has also received her master board member certification, and in order to achieve master certification, board members must achieve advanced certification, which she did, earn at least 12 additional training credits, complete annual refresher training requirement through MSBA, read 2 or more books related to school board service, attend at least 2 MSBA regional or statewide events, and write a brief essay relating to their study to their school board service. So, master board member certification and
There's one more level I'm working on.
Yeah, go on.
There's
One more
one
level.
picture. You're gonna do a lot. Thank you.
And then that will go toward our group award, which we will win someday. Would you like to talk about that?
They now have what they call a governance award. They're trying to encourage every school district to apply for it. And there's certain criteria, but one of them is one of your board members has a certification. So that's one reason I really wanted to get that done. But there's other criteria that we ought to share out someday to the board so they can start, Ozark can start working.
Yeah, that'll actually be required by the state
Right.
in a year or 2.
Yeah, I think it's coming with M6 that they have to look to do that.
And so now we can qualify because we have to have at least one board member who's got their certification.
I think in June, they're gonna honor 17 schools that have received this governor.
Great.
You can do that next year. And non-assistant superintendent's report, Cindy. Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, I'm not necessarily gonna talk a whole lot about the legislative session that
Oh,
is ending on Friday. Just to let you know that we did, get word that they had, passed the, retirement that would take, if you have 32 years of service, they're gonna move the multiplier to 2.55%. And so for 32 years of service, so that would be a pay retirement increase for those who worked 32 years. So they did pass that, and I think that's then going to the government. I don't remember the Senate number on that one, Senate bill. That number is black in my brain, I apologize, but it did pass. So we have some other tax things that are out there that we heard have passed. We don't ultimately know, there's so many things that are happening right now in Jeff City, as session is looking to wrap up tomorrow at 6 p.m. So we'll just wait and see what the fallout is and have a full report for you in June. So that's the superintendent's report, pending any questions.
Any questions? And any assistant superintendent comments or questions? Sure.
Oh, I forgot. There was an update a little bit on the high school air conditioner. I just wondered, what's the current status of that? Does anybody know?
I have not
We can,
questioned
he
him on that.
I think, well, he went to chamber, he's being
Right.
Interviewed for.
Correct.
So, yeah, we can.
I can have him email you with an update, if that would be acceptable.
There was a part on back order, I think,
Correct.
and so it's just supply.
I've not gotten, and I know Gerald just stepped out too, I've not heard anything
Big
about
order, I
it.
think he sent me a copy of when he ordered, and
So
so
I
I
remember he said last time there was something about that HVAC thing hasn't worked for more than, I don't know, maybe he said 60 days or 6 months or something like that at a time. It kept breaking. So I just wondered, does he have a plan for, or not he, but is the district have a plan for, like, does they have to be replaced or, I mean, how does that, what's
Yes.
the maintenance schedule?
Increase
Well,
funds.
actually, so you will,
Increase fund for.
let's ease up on that conversation. No, so to answer your question, yes, there is a plan, and, there's the, I'm gonna say it wrong, Lori, the ESCO,
Performance contract service, yeah.
that is in the process. We have brought that to the board and approved it. So that information would then, include replacement of that unit. So that is gonna potentially come to the board in June or August for consideration. So to answer your question, yes, it's not gonna be an immediate fix, like as in over the summer, but they do have the repair, that is underway. It's getting parts for these units evidently is the problem. I don't want to put words in Dr. Jessek's mouth, but just having been in operations before, I know, having given many HVAC presentations to this group, but I don't know, a part had to be made. We know that as agreed last month. I don't know the status of that.
He said that the report is repaired and brought back online, and that he would be presenting to replace the whole thing in June.
Thank you.
Which is the ESCO thing.
Which is the ESCO thing.
Yeah.
That's what I was just, that's what he'll be.
That's in his.
So evidently the part evidently is in. I did not ask him.
And next we need
Thank
to, any other questions or comments?
Is there a maintenance schedule, maybe it's posted somewhere already of what things they do each month? You know, each month we look at this, and the next month we look at that.
In June, he presents a facility improvement list to the board for approval.
And that's included in that, the maintenance schedule?
Okay, so,
You know what I mean, like each month you're going to do a different thing, you look at this, you look at that.
so yet they have that. We have not ever presented that to the board before. If the board is requesting that of us, we can have Dr. Jessic provide that to you.
Well, I guess I'd like to see, I mean, I think before we ask for things, we should see what he presents in June.
Sure.
And then, that's what I.
Yeah, he'll be presenting the facility improvement list, finalizing that over the summer.
I'm trying to figure out how
Sure.
this works. So,
Yeah,
good,
yeah.
okay, thank you.
Next, we just need to, before we approve the consent agenda, we need to pull off change order request number 1. Oh, I'm sorry, future dates, I skipped future dates. I skipped future dates, so.
Oh, future
Talk
dates.
about future dates. No graduation.
Graduation, we know that that's coming up. We also want to mention, I think, Ashley, we did have a couple of board members that are signed up for the summer summit, so to start that training there, so that's exciting. And then I wanted to mention in future dates, we have on the agenda in new business to discuss moving the June 22nd board meeting to June 29th. So that date, I just want to make a change, depending on that vote coming up, and it'd be our recommendation to change that in new business. So that's future dates.
And then tentatively, is that May 30th?
At 4 o'clock.
Oh, yes,
That's
thank you.
future date.
Completely forgot about that. So a special session, May 30th, to continue some of the work from today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And then we need to move on to approve the consent agenda, and Dr. Cheswick has asked us to pull off change request number 1. And we just need a motion. Or any questions or comments?
Pull off number 1, approve that.
Pull off number
Pull it off, pull it off, pull it out.
So, well, not really on this one.
Could that be a motion?
Indeed. Can we do it in one motion and not two? Like, do the minutes and the change form?
No, let's just, do we just do 2 motions? Yeah, we'll do 2
Two motions, okay. So let's do the first motion first.
Okay.
All right, Amber Bryant?
We just,
And what's the first motion?
We need someone, Dr. Cheswick asked us to pull off the change order
Somebody needs
request.
to make the
Yes.
motion.
I'll make a motion
Thank
to
you.
strike the,
Good.
Change
change
it.
the rest of the one.
yes.
I'll second that.
Motion by Mark and second by Patty.
Amber Bryant?
I think it's just a.
Oh,
It's all-
sorry,
yeah. Okay, you're right.
Okay, close.
Been all set.
Yes, all in favor? Any opposed?
Got it.
Any abstentions? Thank you.
Now, and I'd like to move that we please move, item number 1, approval of the Board of Education open session. Let's move that off the consent agenda so we can discuss it.
And we just need to, here in a second. Or how, I don't need a second. Okay, second by? Okay.
I'm not saying you don't approve them, I'm just.
Sure. Yes. Okay, gotcha. Yes.
Just going off to discuss separate.
Very good, yeah. Okay, and all in favor? And any opposed? Unopposed, no abstentions. And now we can approve the rest of the consent agenda. As amended. Motion by Mark and second by Aaron. All in favor? Any opposed? No. Any abstentions? No. And we'll do the minutes. So, I'm looking at the minutes, there are numbers, like number 10, is reorganized the board of A. It starts from like the chairman and he is swearing board members. C was, C was elected board officers. There's not a motion listed on there except for the one to close nominations. And then it just says school board president Sarah Appleton. I just want to say that I'm pretty sure I remember I nominated her. I seconded it.
Yes,
I seconded it, but I didn't.
Yes. Yeah, I even asked Ashley about that as well, so.
Has that been corrected already? Oh, okay, thanks. Thank you. I didn't know that I should, so I have a couple of those things like that. I didn't know I should be on.
Yeah, now we know.
Okay, so, yeah, thank you. So next time I will. But same thing on number 2, like the vice president. I don't think that I moved to close nominations. I did nominate Mark for vice president, but I don't think I moved to close the nomination. I'm just looking at
No,
that.
it was a call, I mean, like, after I seconded it, and then you closed them. Somebody else to comment.
Right,
But you have to make a
the
motion
minutes
to
say,
close the nomination.
yeah, the minutes say that I moved to close the nomination, I didn't. It doesn't say who nominated Mark.
So you did, and then I seconded it.
Well, I'm not saying that, maybe my version is worse, but, I'm okay, that hasn't been updated.
Motion by Christina, seconded by Amber, close nominations. I will tell you I probably didn't say that because I didn't know.
Now, he was only the pro temp.
I just take over
Chairman, yeah.
that brief moment.
No, I was thinking when I seconded it, no one else said anything, I think that you said to close nominations, I think that's what happened.
Okay, well, I don't think I went first, but.
But that'd be correct.
So you guys are looking at 2 different documents?
Okay, it doesn't have a motion here
That's what I was
to
saying.
elect. There should be first a motion to nominate Mark Jenkins, seconded then, and then there has to be a motion by somebody to close the nomination. There has to be 2 things there.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're correct.
so this one, well, we fixed this the other day. Because it was
That's what I
last
was
night.
stuck on, yeah, that's what I was stuck on, okay.
But we're not seeing the corrected one now?
Well, I don't know why, to be honest, because mine's showing correct. Unless you're not, I don't know. This is a new system we're trying to figure out.
Yes.
I see what you're saying, it should have said the act, what the actual motion was, and then, okay, because this is just in one sentence.
Right. And I don't know, I know it's like, I love technology, and it's wonderful when it works for someone who doesn't. So I wonder, is there like some backup, somebody, like, used to write them down on paper or anything like that, so you've got a record before you come in and, okay. So you know, because I take those all the time anyway, but I just didn't, like, I was like, well, I know I didn't make that motion, but I don't know who did, so, but you know. So how will we get the corrected version of it?
Well, if you send me your corrections, I can kind of compare them to what my notes say and just make sure, because.
So-
To say what happened.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, so what should we do? We need to table this conversation so we can make sure we get them correct and we can bring them back May 30th. Correct, adopt the correct.
I'm reading it now, it's not, The next one, on number 3, shows that I voted against electing Lori Wilson as the treasurer. I didn't. The vote wasn't 6-1, it was 7-0. And one version had it all listed who voted which way, and it actually said Christina Thompson. I was like, I didn't vote against that. So I know it's just a weird thing, but so you want me to email you those? I want me to go through and, because there are a couple more, saving for all of us to decide about it, okay. Then on after number 6, it says there's a vote of 7-0, but I don't know what the vote was on, maybe that's just a glitch.
Is that 6-4, it says the MSBA alternate delegate, that's what the vote is.
Oh, so there were 2.
Yeah,
Oh, I
it's
see.
page 1,
It
page
just
2.
wasn't underneath each other.
Yeah.
One is by itself, okay. Then on 13B, oh no, that's just the notes myself, sorry. Okay, and then the old minutes used to list on the consent agenda, it would list their names, like we said just a while ago, the consent agenda, after we approve it, then the next time it'll list on the minutes. But this one doesn't list on the minutes anymore, their names. Is that somewhere else?
So you can click into the actual agenda to do that. And again, I'm still learning this technology, so it's very, very new, but you can click into the agenda and it's unlocked after the 72 hours. So you can actually see everything still in the agenda.
So, after we approve the minutes, I'm just making sure I got what you said. After we vote today, and approve the minutes, then 72 hours from now, we'll be able to see all the names listed on there.
Yeah.
Okay, just checking, because people have asked me these questions.
Yeah, and they
I'm
can
like,
click
I don't
in,
know what
anyone
happened
can
to
click
them.
into the agenda and see the names, but we have to wait till 72 hours after the hiring of people.
Right.
So that they have time to do, what they need to do and get notified and all that fun
Okay.
stuff.
And just a little typo thing, which probably was on number 17. On number 17, the sentence doesn't finish. The Ozark Varsity Board of Education. Or at least it doesn't show up on mine. They didn't line either. Okay, just a little. Otherwise, that's great. I wasn't trying to do it.
We need to give Ashley a little break.
Yes, well, I have, I'm not at all picking on you.
Oh, I was
It's
totally fine.
It's like trying to make it work.
And so now we have a
But so
procedure
to have our official minutes, for the public to be able to look at or the state, whoever needs to
Yep,
have.
and we'll have a procedure, just email Ashley, and I think copy us on it if you have burning corrections ahead of time, and then we can go, and that way that'll give you.
Yeah, I would say, I think for clarity, you would need to email the board president and CC Ashley.
Very good, yeah.
That way,
That's-
that would be my recommendation.
Well, we need a motion to table approving the minutes from the last board meeting till May 30th. Okay, I make that motion. I'll second.
Motion by Patty, and second by Amber, to table the minutes until the May 30th meeting. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions? None. New business?
Yeah, so as we move into the new school year, we do have to set a date to set the tax rate hearing, because the district does need to set the tax rate. And as you guys know, that becomes its own special meeting, and so we need to set that date. And I believe it's our recommendation, we do like to get our numbers finalized and all of that, so we do like to push that a little bit later in August if we can. So we would ask to move that board meeting to August 24th, which we're going to approve next or present to the board next. But to set the tax rate hearing before that, we would ask that the board set the tax rate hearing for August 24th at 7, on or about 7 p.m.
And school starts on Monday, the 21st.
On Monday, the 21st, correct, yes.
Any questions or comments? Is that a regular?
It is a regular board meeting, but it has its own agenda.
Right,
Yes, yes.
I'm just trying to get that.
Yes, it is same.
Motion for that.
Yes, please.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mark and second by Guy. All in favor? Any opposed? None. Any abstentions? None. Thank you.
We also have, next item of business is we are presenting the board meeting dates. As you know, generally speaking, we try to meet the third Thursday of every month. We do set, work sessions are normally in October and in January and May. And we have kind of spaced those out. I'm anticipating that to be the same. I look towards Dr. Wilson as she'll be working with you guys on that. So we also have already made some adjustments. I know that Ashley went in and looked at when the AASA conference is, because it usually is that third Thursday, and we've had to adjust the board meetings, so we're trying to get that out ahead of time. So February is a different date, March is a different date because of spring break, I believe, and
April, certified election.
and because of certifying the election, thank you, and then May.
I'd like to talk about that. I think this work session being this early in the month is hard, especially if it's around graduation, all the things at the end of the year. I'd like to see us move it to late in May. If it wants to be separate, if you want to have your regular board meeting one day and the work session different, just like today. We wanted to do a lot of things, but we're so rushed and crammed in here in one day. I'd like to see us separate the board meeting and a work session, and have a work session later.
I think that's a great idea.
That's just my opinion.
We did.
Yeah, we used to do it that way.
That is correct.
It's just a-
Next year's graduation date is May 17th. Just so you know that date.
So we would be looking at doing the third Thursday in May for a board meeting.
Keep the work session on the 9th, do the work session on
You still, is that too hard to do by hand?
Well, if the regular board meeting is on the 17th, we're okay with that. It's when the board meeting is moved up to the 9th or something that it becomes very difficult for finance.
Well, your regular board meeting, if graduation's on the 17th, regular board meeting's the third Thursday, which would be the 16th, the day before
That's
graduation,
Which is,
which is fine.
should be fine,
Yes.
right? I mean,
Yes,
when will senior awards be?
the 16th.
The 16th, right?
Right, that's what I mean, that's what I was trying to tell you.
Right, it would be the same problem.
Right. that's
So
fine.
do you want to make, we could move it to, you want to do it the last Thursday of the month?
I would rather see the work session move later, because even though that's the 9th, you still got a lot of things going on. It's busy time, and I'd like to attend
So-
stuff, and it's,
So to remind, so the reason why we did move it up is if you guys remember, we used to do the board work session in June.
Yeah.
The problem is, the senior, when the superintendent, myself, I wanted to meet with the senior leadership, well, the board needs to set the direction. We need to, our work session should be about setting that. I know today was a little different because of new board members, but generally, you're setting our course for the year. Then the superintendent would want to meet with their subordinate leaders who then meet with their next, and we got to get everybody out the door by the end of June. So there's a lot of planning that we need to go. So I'm just saying, as we look at that, just kind of keep that in mind if we want to try to, now obviously it's up to you and Lori, but I'm just saying that does help that superintendent to be able to meet with all those groups before they get out the door in June. So we would want to have that.
I'd like to see the board meeting on the 16th, the third Thursday, like people are used to, and then do a work session that next week.
Could we maybe do if we want to do it to a Tuesday, on Thursday, it will be senior awards night.
Oh, that's true, that's true too.
Yes.
And there's part, and just a difference, having that work session earlier before that board meeting, and if we create that standard, there's part of it as a newer board member, that having this before we step into a board meeting is a good thing. Because your relationships are beginning to form to make that, make that more effective, if that makes sense. So I would think the work session before that board meeting. Yeah.
So you could do the board meeting,
Third Thursday is the day of senior graduation. If you moved it to the fourth Thursday, that's the last day of school, which wouldn't impact anything, that just is the last day of school, I'm just letting you know.
What is the 23rd?
The 23rd is the last day of school.
and do that, we could do the work session then?
Or if you do the work
Or do the
session
board-
like you had planned on May 9th.
You could, so to Lori's point, maybe what we would recommend is let's do the work session on the 16th, because you could conclude before the
Yeah, if we
awards.
start early in the day, we could be
Yeah,
done.
you'll be done before the senior awards, and
On
that'll
the
be
work
fine,
session,
because
yeah.
we don't have, right now, we had to juggle everything because we had a board meeting with it. So, and then do the board meeting then on the 23rd,
Yes.
which would be
Yes.
after
That would
the
work
half
perfect.
day. That would actually
I
work
like
well.
that. What does Miss Lori like?
Well, I guess that's true. I'll
No,
be
that's
quiet.
fine, I was in the wrong month anyway, so I'm good, now, we'll make it work.
So the 16th, we're recommending the 16th to be a the all-day work session.
Okay.
And the 23rd would be the regular board meeting.
Sure. A year out, I have nothing else on my calendar, so we're good.
And so Ashley is making those adjustments to the attachments.
There you go.
Thank you.
Bam.
Thank you. Is this the time to talk about, should we have them always start at the same time? Or not always, but I mean, generally start at the same time?
For the public, you mean?
Yeah, for the sake. Generally, they do. Once in a
Generally,
while,
we
they
do.
don't.
On occasion, there's things that like today, we're trying to
But
juggle.
if you separate the
multiple
work session from that board meeting of that month, you can have the board meeting at the regular schedule. So that's all that.
I agree, so parents and citizens always know, like, I can go to the open part every time and post it at 6 o'clock, is that what you mean?
At 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, whatever, if it were just always the same time. Because it might not seem like it if you're here being involved in it, but if you're a person not on the board, the time moves around often. It's one month it's 5 o'clock, the next month it's 7, the next month it's 4:30, the next month it's 6. I mean, just because, I understand the board meeting shifts it because there's some senior recognition at basketball, so you can move it up a little bit, but that makes it harder for the community if it's not a consistent time. What do you think?
I think we should have a standard time of 7 with the understanding that if it's gonna change, we plan.
And I think that's the way it is now.
I think
It's at or about, and I think.
Oh, yeah, or
And
about.
then, and I think what you're saying is because as somebody who's been sitting out there a lot, there's parents who are coming in late and they're like, did I miss it? So I think that's probably. So I think we could do better there, maybe making sure that if we say that with understanding still that there's a lot of stuff going on here and we have to be able to monitor that too.
one thing, to that point, Amber, we are, working with our communications department to make sure we also had some situations where we had different times in different places.
Right.
Because something didn't get updated potentially, and so we've eliminated all of those going into this next year. So that also will, improve. There'll just be
Assembly.
one location.
Assembly helps. with
Assembly
that.
is gonna help with that, yes, thank you, yes, so that will also help.
Set standard time, normal time.
I think you still have to say on or about, if we do close before, sometimes that does run long if you're in the middle of a situation. Usually try not to go more than 15 minutes though.
I think, like you said, I think we could stop and then be respectful to them and then go back in if we have to. But I don't think we should ever start early because then I think that's when people are missing out. But I think we should make ourselves stop if we're, I think we're just gonna play it by ear. So if like just, we have 5 more minutes, let's finish it, you know, but.
Is there a reason we've always done close first?
It has switched around, it has switched around, yeah, just depending on the board, everybody has a different idea, so each board is a little bit different.
But if you do closed after, you're gonna be here really late. I think we should.
I get it, but it's also, I think your kids getting recognized at 8 o'clock, sometimes.
Yeah, I do think,
I think we should make it better.
Well, if the about was not before 7, so if it's at or about 7, that means it starts at either 7 to 7:10. It doesn't mean it's gonna start at 6:45. But that's when parents are really.
It started about 10 minutes late. Yeah, we did start beginning.
Correct, so that you said at 7 or about is really late, not
I
early.
absolutely can
Yes,
make that
yes.
without question. I think some of what was helpful with doing close before Whereas many times you have to call in individuals to come into close. And so if you've got administrators, that kind of thing, you can get them in before they may have to go and supervise an event. Or if you're pulling somebody else in, it's easier to get that scheduled. If somebody's trying to schedule a business person to come in or something, it's easier to do that. So I think that's some of the reason why that close got moved before, but I absolutely agree. We can be more consistent going in without question.
I agree with you.
Just make
I
it
think if
commitment.
we're in closing, it's running like, we need to stop and say, we'll come back after.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah, I think that shows respect to our
Make it
veterans.
part of
I
our
really do,
Yeah.
Absolutely
Like I
agree.
say, we are doing our best to always start those at 7.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Any other questions or comments?
Make a motion to approve the 2023-2024 board meeting dates as presented and amended. Second.
Motion by Mark and second by Aaron. All in favor? Any opposed? None. Any abstentions? None. Thank you. Next, we have approved MSBA revised policies. Oh, we did. Is that the one we moved on? Revised
Or is that other packet?
It was the other package. That was BDDH and policy KC, yes.
I would like to suggest, or maybe I need to make a motion, I don't know, that we table this because there's so many of them. I couldn't get the links to open even, and I wrote in a little bit this week. I only could find them on Monday. And then the links were open, and maybe today they open, but I haven't looked at them today. So I would like a chance to look at them and study them, and maybe we should talk about it next time on our 25th. On the 30th.
Yes. I think that's a great
That's a
idea.
great idea, and so, yeah.
There's a lot there to go over. I was forever trying to.
This was a big packet.
Yeah.
They generally, I mean, I can't say ever, but this was a big group.
Did you make the motion to table?
I didn't move that we did. Motion by Christina.
Second, I'll second that.
Second by Patty. All in favor? Any opposed? None. Any abstentions? None. Thank you. June board meeting. We already finished that, didn't we? Or no?
No, we needed to talk, I mentioned it, but
Mentioned
I
it.
didn't know if you wanted to talk about changing. The recommendation is to move it to the 29th
Yes,
because we've got some.
yes.
Yes.
Yes, Mark and I are both out of town on the 22nd. Mark is back in town by the 29th, so he could reside, and so that's why we are requesting the move.
It makes a lot better. Yes.
I'll make that motion.
Make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion by Mark, second by Guy. All in favor? Everybody, any opposed? None. Any abstentions? None. Thank you. Approve the bill pay and hiring.
So to explain this a little bit, since we do try to move the June board meeting as late as we can, we do have bills that come due that we need to get paid. So we ask the board to go ahead and let us pay those bills, and then we will notify you in June of what those are, as well as any hiring. Obviously, if we're gonna be offering a contract to somebody, we wanna try to get them under contract. If for some reason the contract that we issue could be pulled back, and for some reason the board would have a reason to not choose to do something, we obviously work with that, but we do want to get people locked down as quickly as we can. So we do notify the board of all of those, so those will be listed in our consent, or if there's other conversations. But we do ask for you to go ahead and let us get those bills paid so that we're timely in our paying, since it is pushed to the end of the month, and we gotta get the month closed out by the 29th. That does put a lot of pressure on the business and the finance group. So is there anything you want to add to that, Dr. Wilson? So anyway, that's why it's our recommendation to move that. That's why we have that in there. Let us go ahead and pay those bills. It's only the June. It's nothing else. It's just that June.
I'll make a motion to approve the district's office to continue with bill paying and hiring until the next board meeting on June 20th.
Motion by Patty,
I'll second that.
second by Guy. All in favor? Any opposed? None. Any abstentions? None. Thank you. And next is
Motion to adjourn.
Mark makes a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Aaron. All in favor? Any opposed? None. Any abstentions? None. Thank you. Next, we have retirees reception.
The retiree reception will be in the gallery at the OIC, and so generally what we do there, it's a meet and greet. They come in, we just mingle with all those who are retiring, they do receive a plaque, from the district. We have not necessarily traditionally done anything outside of visiting
The visiting.
Now, yes.
So I think that's perfect.
with the board. So, we do have cookies, sandwiches, other things that are set up back there for you guys and the retirees. And then from there, we'll have some that then transition over to the senior awards night. So I thank you guys for all your patience with the juggling today. And Finley River Community Foundation scholarships that starts at 5:30. If anybody is trying to make that event.
5, unfortunately.
Oh,
They corrected their time. It
okay,
starts at
thank you. It
5:05.
starts
So
at 5, so.
If you're wanting to see Finley River, you can't see retirees. They're at the exact same time. And Mr. Chambers is going to go represent us over at the retiree thing, but, yeah,